Alright guys, we are back in Japan for another video. Japan, a place that holds a dear place in my heart. Despite having some ups and downs there, ultimately I do miss the place and sometimes I wish things had panned out differently. So here again at Muscle Gym, 24-hour gym in Tokyo, but more importantly, a very relaxed gym. Look at that, I've got my shirt off there, tattoos on display. You're not going to get hassled, you're not going to get stressed by the staff. You can pretty much do what you want like that. And this video I'm going to show you a leg workout, but I'm also going to talk about what gyms in Japan are like, what you can expect if you move in there in the near future, because they are ultimately different to gyms back in the West. I've made a couple of videos in the past. One of them was one of my more successful videos, still only about 5,000 views, but good for me. Talking about the bad experiences, but today we're going to focus more on the good experiences and just the general experiences, not good, not bad, but what you are going to be seeing, what you are going to find when you join a gym in Japan. So let's stock this one up now for the top set. Whoa, big boy. So let's talk about the price, guys. Now, there are a lot of franchise gyms out in Tokyo, Anytime Fitness, JoyFit, Fast Fitness maybe, I forget the name. But this gym was Muscle Gym. There are 2 or 3 of them around Tokyo, but these are a smaller franchise, not as common, but ultimately I love them because they are a lot more chilled out than you're going to get at those bigger companies. This place is about 7,000 yen a month, but I actually paid for a year in advance. I paid 70,000 yen. So effectively you're getting 2 months for free. And with the current conversion rate, it actually works out at about £30 a month. So you can't really complain about that. You've got full equipment, hammer strength, which I think is super important. Getting ready for some Romanian deadlifts here. So for £30 a month in what is supposed to be one of the most expensive cities in the world, I don't think you can complain. With these Romanian deadlifts, guys, I am not claiming that I'm an oracle on leg training. My legs have always lacked a little bit. I am very tall, so again, that doesn't help genetically. But you don't need to be going excessively heavy. If you're interested in going heavy, if that's your challenge, if that's what you want to do, then that's great. But in terms of engaging those muscles down the back, the hamstrings, a little bit of the glutes, even a bit of the calves, you're going to want to keep it nice and low weight, control the weight, nice controlled range of motion. That's where you're going to get the most benefit. So let's talk about the atmosphere in these gyms, guys. Now, all the videos I put up, especially the last year in Japan, I've lived there twice. The first period I was training in the evening. It was a lot busier. There were a lot more people around. Friendly people, some people who don't really want to talk to you. That's fine, just like any gym. In this second, more recent period in Japan, I was training in the morning. And to be honest, it was a very light crowd, similar crowd every day, the same people, same few people. I got to a point where, you know, we'd let on to each other, but we weren't talking, we weren't chatting. I think anyone who trains early in the morning is basically in there to go in, get your stuff done, get out. You're not there to stand around. You're not there to relax and make a day of it. So you're going to get on with your workout, guys. You're going to have the gym pretty much to yourself. I never really had to wait around for certain pieces of equipment, although again, just like any gym in the world, not Japan specific, you do get those characters who really love to take their time, and sometimes you're standing there and making eye contact with them in the mirror. Those mirrors there that you can see, guys, I'm behind staring, trying to make eye contact. They make eye contact, but they just completely ignore you. So that's just the same as anywhere, guys. The gym culture, I would say, isn't quite as strong as it is in other countries that I've lived in, particularly back in the UK or my experience of training in America, but it is definitely improving. I think a good example of that was I made a video where I went into the local 7-Elevens in Japan, and the amount of protein products that are available, guys, the amount of, you know, marketed protein, health and fitness products that are readily available in the convenience store. From when I first arrived to when I ultimately ended up leaving, it must have increased by about tenfold. So in that respect, you can see that the culture is definitely becoming more and more popular. More and more people are interested, a wider range of people. And although I'm not a Japanese person working in Japan, oh, nice shot of my legs there. although I'm not a Japanese person working in Japanese society, I have heard that ultimately people nowadays are looking more for that work-life balance where they are less interested in absolutely killing themselves in their office from daft o'clock in the morning till daft o'clock at night. And people are taking a lot more care of themselves personally, and the gym has become a big part of that. People are trying to finish work on time so that they can get to the gym in the evening or do something healthy, something to take care of themselves, because anyone who knows anything about Japan, guys, will know that there is an aspect of the culture where it's not really healthy, the approach to work. I'm not going to say too much about that because it's not really my place. Oh, look at this, a little bit of calf exercise there. It's not really my place to say, guys. I'm not going to analyze a culture in general, but yeah, I think there are definitely stories that you can hear. There's examples in the news that people have an unhealthy relationship with their work, whether that be their own personal choice or whether it be pressure from others. So it's good to see that people are starting to take more of an interest in their personal health and taking care of themselves and prioritizing themselves over basically just working all the time. Now, this gym is particularly well equipped. It's actually quite a small gym in the grand scheme of things, especially considering where I'm training at the moment, which is like a huge warehouse out here in Thailand. This was quite a small gym, but it really did tick every box. And one thing you need to be aware of, guys, when you go into these gyms is that they're all a mixed bag. So I have recommended to people in previous videos, and I'm going to recommend it here, if the gym is important to you, as it is very important to me. And if you are going to Japan and you're not exactly tied to a location, because if you're going to be working for a Japanese company, they'll pay your work travel regardless of where you are. Now, obviously, you don't want to be an hour away from your job, but maybe if you are one station away from your job, the gym there isn't that good, but maybe if you go 2 stations further out, there's a really good, well-equipped gym. It's not going to make any difference in terms of your travel costs. It's probably going to add about 10 minutes either way onto your journey. So if the gym's important to you guys, I would definitely recommend that you take some time to have a little search around beforehand. If you have time, depending on whatever your situation is, search around and make sure that you find somewhere that you are going to be happy with, because for part of my time in Japan, I was in a very limited gym. And then luckily, not this gym, but another gym near to where I used to live opened up just down the road. Solved all my problems at the time, but for that first few months, I was struggling, guys, because I ended up basically just walking further than I needed to go to better equipped gyms. Whereas if I'd just stayed in those locations in the first place, I could have saved myself a lot of time and effort. So guys, I did make a video, as I said, about gyms in Japan being the worst. It was a little bit clickbaity in terms of the title. I did have one very frustrating experience. You can go watch that video next if you want. Agree with me or not. But ultimately, Japan is where I probably reached my peak physically. I had some of the best workouts of my life. I had some of the best times of my life. I ended up meeting my wife there. I'll be honest, guys, I wish things would have worked out differently sometimes, because I would have loved to have stayed in Japan much longer, but for whatever reason, they didn't. If you're heading out to Japan, have a great time. Find yourself a top gym and get jacked out of your fucking skin. Until the next one, guys, like, subscribe, etc., etc. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.